Hello, I'm Dr. Jeffrey Kile.
And I'm Dr. Alvaro Reymunde.
From PAK Pediatrics. And today, let's talk about talking to your children about coronavirus 19 or COVID-19 and how we approach that with our kids.
I think this is really important. At least with the patients that I'm seeing, there is a lot of anxiety coming from the parents and as well from the children. But I definitely sense that energy exuding from them where they're nervous, they hear all these things in the news, their friends are talking, they're on Skype, they're on Facebook, they're on all these things, and they don't know what to believe, what to do. They seem like a little bit overwhelmed. So I think this is something that we should kind of talk about a little bit and address to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Right. And even you know, as an adult, if you don't have all the information, you start to fill in the cracks yourself and try to find and piecemeal stuff from different areas, not just talking about COVID-19, but in general. And then some of that might not be correct information. Right. So I think the first thing when thinking about talking to your kids is that you have to allay your own anxiety first and make sure it's okay for us all to feel anxious because we don't know that much about this disease, and understandably so. But make sure when you're ready to talk to your children, you're in a state of mind that you're not overly anxious because you don't want to portray that to your children. And the second thing is make sure that you inform yourself about the virus and have a little bit of a working knowledge about it, because there's so much out there in the media now. Some of it's sensationalized, some of it's not, and some of it goes always toward the bad things, not necessarily saying that 80% of people don't get very sick from this. So we have to act as a filter for our children to make sure that they're getting the appropriate information. And the only way to do that is to inform yourself. So great resources to go to are the cdc.gov and the aap.org. That's the American Academy of Pediatrics. Great resources to find information, and specifically with our state, going to our state public health website.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good information on all of those, as well as on our website as well, pakpeds.com. But inform yourself first, and when you approach your children, just be honest, be open, but talk. It's very, very important to talk. I would make a point of talking every night, just asking your child, are you okay? How are you feeling? Do you have any questions? And it's okay if they ask this question that you don't have the answer to, but it's really, really important to not lie to them. If you don't know the answer, be like, just tell them, oh, I'm not sure about that. I can look into it. Maybe I'll make a call tomorrow and then I'll get back to you. But it's really important to talk to your children and just be very open and very honest with them.
Right, and with smaller children and even older ones too, I would say, you want to keep your answers very simple and to the fact.
Right.
And do it in a developmentally appropriate way. And take cues from your children. I think it's okay to ask them, so what have you heard about this? Because then, if you ask that question, they could sort of take the lead and sort of tell you sort of what they're hearing, and then you could guide your discussion on really what they're saying, which is most important, because that's what's on their mind, what they're talking about.
And so talking is a great way to lessen everybody's anxiety. But so is having fun with our families and sticking to routines, staying active, going outside for walks. I don't recommend going to playgrounds or anything like that because the virus can stay on surfaces for quite some time. But go in your own backyard and have some fun. Pretend it's the 80s and 90s. Go play with a stick and some rocks.
Right.
But this is a great time to bond with our children. They're home from school. Go online, look for some crafts, look for some science experiments, some activities, and things like that. Just have fun with your kids, right?
Right. And children tend to be very egocentric in general. So what that means is they worry about themselves, and they often worry about their close family members. So they may be worried, am I going to get this disease?
Yeah.
And is my family going to get sick? Or is my family member that has a chronic illness, are they going to get ill? And that's where it becomes important to discuss the facts.
Right.
But then also empowering the children to understand what you're doing to stay safe. So tell them, oh, well, remember, we're always washing our hands. We're trying to stay inside so people don't get sick. So they understand that you're being proactive about how we're handling it. That's sort of empowering.
And that's a really good point. It's really important to explain to our children why we're doing these things. why are certain businesses closed, why we aren't leaving the house as much. And
it's to keep people healthy, so a positive spin.
Yeah, exactly.
And then also with the routines, the other thing too is that think about when you're doing your routine, what you do in the summer times. Because it's very similar. You're home, and we always say you still want to try to get up at a certain time,
yes,
go to bed at a certain time, eat meals at a certain time. Because predictability with children is very important, and they feel secure with a routine. So if you're sort of getting out of and just sort of letting it go and being very fluid, that could actually cause some stress.
Yeah, especially with bedtimes and nighttime routines. I have a lot of patients that have taken this time and taken advantage of it, and they've been going to bed 10, 11, midnight, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And I encourage parents to maintain a strict bedtime, that's appropriate for your child's age.
Right.
And the other thing that we should really watch out for is screen time. It's very easy nowadays to spend many hours on the screen, whether it be on video games or iPads or watching shows on different streaming services. So I encourage parents to also put a limit on that and encourage kids to go outside or to do crafts indoors if you can.
Correct. So just to recap, it's really important that as parents, you sort of have an understanding of COVID and act as a filter for the news for them. And if you're anxious yourself, try to be in a state of mind that you're ready to talk to your kids before you go ahead and do it.
Right. We want to be open. We want to be reassuring to our child. And we want to be a source of good, positive information. And we want to be as truthful as we can with our children.
Correct. And we want to empower our children to understand what we're doing to keep safe. And keeping routines is really important to have some semblance of normalcy in a life where we're really not in school right now.
Yep.
And really also reassure your children that you're going to keep the lines of communication open so that they know they could come to you with any questions that they have, and you'll talk to them with it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Hope that's helpful.
Hope it's helpful. Stay safe. Thanks for listening.